There are a million furnace filter options out there. Cheap ones versus expensive ones. Which ones are better for the air quality in your home? And are the expensive ones actually costing you more in electricity than you thought? I've been working on furnaces for 30 years, and today I'm going to share with you the top 5 furnace filter mistakes that people make and answer those questions. Okay, starting out at number 5. Not really a mistake, but it can be really frustrating trying to take out an old filter. How am I supposed to get my fingers in there? If you have a set of pliers at home, use those. No problem at all. If you don't have a set of pliers, you probably have a screw. Grab a wood screw, drywall screw, give it a turn in there, pull it out. Easy peasy. Mistake number 4, forgetting to turn off the power before changing your filter. If the furnace is running when you're trying to change the filter, first of all, it's going to be really difficult to pull that out with all that pressure against the dirty filter, and you can wind up tearing it into pieces. And you go to put the new filter in, that's going to be difficult also. And if there's a piece of plastic or a piece of paper stuck in your return air, all the way back to new construction, when you pull that furnace filter out, it's going to get sucked into the blower, and that can cost you a lot of money. Now, when it comes to turning off the power to the furnace, there should be a switch nearby the furnace, otherwise you go to your breaker. But you don't want to turn off the power to the furnace if it's running. You need to give this furnace time to cool down. You should go to your thermostat, turn the temperature down, wait 60 seconds, then turn off the power. If you don't wait, and you turn it off right away, the furnace hasn't had a chance to cool down, it is unsafe for the furnace, and it will overheat. That can cause you a service call. 9 times out of 10, it's okay. Once in a while, it's going to cost you money. Mistake number 3, putting the filter in backward. If you put the filter in backward, it's going to be more restrictive, which can cost you money, but also the material off this filter can get pulled into the furnace, causing damage. How do you know if you're putting it in backward? The filter has arrows on it, and the arrows should always point toward the furnace. So if your furnace is in the basement, your arrows are going to look just like this and point towards the equipment. If your furnace is on the main floor and you have ducting in the crawl space, your furnace is going to be on top, and your arrows are going to point down toward the furnace. Now, if you think you're going to forget which way the arrows go after watching this video, here's a tip. Grab a Sharpie, go to your ducting, draw an arrow toward the furnace. Now you'll never forget. Mistake number 2, not changing your filter often enough. Now the industry standard is 3 months, but if you take your filter out after 3 months and it looks like this one, you're going to need to increase that to every month or 2. But if you take your filter out and it looks like this is pretty good. You can probably leave that in for another month or 2. Now what happens if you do forget and your filter looks like this one? Well, your furnace is going to overheat. It's going to run hot. It's going to cost you more in gas and about 25 to 30% more in electricity for a filter that looks like that. So try to remember, you can go on your iPhone, set a reminder for every 3 months, and then you won't forget. At the very least, change your filter twice a year.
Before we get to the number 1 mistake, I just want to say thank you to Jason for helping me create this video. He's an excellent HVAC guy. He's done work for me over the years on a couple of my systems. If you need help with your furnace system or your air conditioner in the Fraser Valley region, definitely want to look Jason up. I will put his company website in the description. I'm also going to put some of the Amazon links for some of the filters that we're talking about here. Keep in mind, there's different size filters for different furnaces, so check yours out before you order anything. Let's get back to the number 1 mistake.
Mistake number 1, spending way too much money on a filter, thinking it's going to cut down on your dust and improve your air quality. Now this is tricky, but for most people with a 1-inch filter, I just recommend a cheap fiberglass filter. It's going to cost less money, and if you have restrictions like you have an air conditioning coil or you have poor ducting, rooms don't get warm enough, putting on a MERV 13 or MERV 14 filter is going to be restrictive. And believe it or not, it's almost like putting in a dirty filter like this one. It's restrictive, and it's going to cost you more money in electricity to operate it. So I would recommend fiberglass filter, or this one's a MERV 8, and this is a great option. Now, if you are really concerned about dust and air quality in the home, pick up a MERV 11, MERV 12, MERV 13 filter. Keep in mind, these are more restrictive. You're going to have to replace them more often. They are going to cost more in electricity and gas to heat your home. And you should have your fan running 24/7. If you're trying to deal with allergies or asthma in the house, you really should be thinking about a whole house air cleaner. That's something totally different. And for that, you need to contact your local HVAC professional. Not turning the furnace power off before. There are arrows on the furnace that should point, or on the, oh, for frick's sake. That's the same one I made. So you want to make sure that the arrows on the furnace are pointing toward the furnace. I said furnace again.